So how is everybody today? This is Brett Tadlock, TNArtist. Hope you're doing fantastic. I've had kind of a good weekend myself. I had a birthday and got to hang out with my family and do lots of cool stuff. So anyway, hope everyone's doing well, and I was ready to do a painting. So let's kind of play around with the painting and work on some stuff. I'm going to put the tilt way on. And let's grab a watercolor brush. And let's see. Maybe. Let's go with a flat wash. And we're going to start off with some colors. Pigment on, pause diffusion. We're going to wet the layer. And let's throw in some color, shall we? Increase the water. Yeah, had a pretty good weekend. Is anything fun and exciting going on your weekend? Just building up some gradation here. Some ideas that I have. Let's bring that opacity way up. Yeah, there we go. I want to do a really rich color. I'm going to grab this again, put a little bit more of that in there. I'm thinking kind of like the, like you'd see for, like if you're putting alcohol inks on a canvas, is kind of the level of brightness that I want. Just kind of letting these fade into each other here. And I'll grab a little bit of this gold ochre. And just kind of put a little of that here and there as well. Maybe just a little bit down here. So, a little bit up here, like so, maybe just a little bit down through here, like so. And I want to throw in a little bit of this cad red, just a little bit. Now let's unpause that. So the canvas I've got here is 10 by 14, and it is Rebelle 6 Pro, the oil color set on the palette over here. And let's look at the water layer. I want to add and kind of take away, build up some texture, and then add in some water. Like so. Just throwing in some random drops of water here. So now through over here, I'm going to grab a little bit of lighter blue. Maybe even something a little bit like that. Something along those lines. We're going to go a little bit more purplish. Just kind of throw some of that in there. And just kind of softly go over it. There we go. Something a little bit like that. Throw in just a little bit more color down here to kind of mess with some of these colors. Something along those lines. Let's see how we're progressing with our water. Really want this to be wet and flowing. Yeah, maybe something like that. Let's come down a little lighter. Drop some paint in here. Now let's go a little bit lighter. Kind of in here. Yeah. I'm going to press 4. And I'm just going to kind of blend some of this. I've got some of what I want, which is just some of these different layers that I can then kind of soften out. Like so. Just going fairly vertical. Like so. Don't want to overly blend it. do want some blending. Something kind of like that. I'm going to go ahead and fast dry this, so I'm not fighting the water running at the moment. I want to put a little bit of white in here. Just kind of lightly soften that up. That. Maybe a little bit there. A little bit down here. Something along those lines. Okay, I'm going to duplicate this layer because I want that richness. And I'm going to duplicate it again, turn off pigment. And I'm actually going to take a look at doing maybe some of these different ones that we've got here. So maybe something like that. And I'll come back up here. And I'm going to select them all and merge them down. And I'm back on my wash. Bring that up in size, press 4. And just kind of again around with streaking this ever so softly. Okay. Straighten out some of these a little more. So, something kind of like that. I want to see what this looks like if I duplicate it yet again. Alright, I'm going to keep part of that, I think. So I'm going to come over here. I'll select... I'm going to get rid of that. And... Actually, this is not quite what I want. That's a little bit more what I want. And a little of this brown. it maybe. I want that to be smaller because I want this to have a little bit of that to it. There we go. Yeah, something like that. So I want a little bit of that hint of the straight line there. It doesn't have to be perfect. And this one I want to blend out. Kind of like that. Something along those lines. Something like that. I'm going to push 4, just kind of softly go up. I'm stroking from the bottom up here. And then this one I'm going kind of down. If you have trouble doing that, just draw that in, click, and then just go along it. Along where you want it, let it click in like that, and that way you get that nice straight line. Okay, now I want a little bit more. Let's try this Van Dyke brown here. I'm going to build this up from the bottom here. I'm going to make this a little bit more of an abstract shape. Something like that. I also want to put a little bit more of this purple in here. Maybe kind of come around a little bit. A few strokes here and there. Just kind of bring that around. Go large again. Again, not trying to get rid of all of it, but just trying to make it soften into it a little bit. I'll turn off tilt too, by the way. There's a lot of vertical strokes in this one. darker. I'm going to grab a little bit darker. Something like that. Midnight brown. A little bit darker. Push that back a little bit. A little bit of bone black. D4, and I want that to be a straight edge, but I don't want it to be like super straight, you know. I don't want it to look cut out per se. I want to have a softer edge. Something like that. So you can tell it's a hard edge, but it's not a hard edge off in the distance. Hopefully that makes sense. Probably clear as mud. Alright, I'm going to put a little bit more on this one. I'm going to go to a little bit darker brush. I'm going to go over here to the Express Oils, to the Knife Smooth, and darken that in. Bring that up a little bit. Not quite that much. There we go. Control D. This brush does a really good job of kind of blending some stuff out. something like that. Alright, make a new layer. Turn back on pigment. A little bit lighter, a little bit purpler. Just kind of soften it in there to each other. Something like that. Again, just kind of straightening some stuff out. Maybe add a little bit down here. 4. Something like that. Something like that. Maybe a little bit more here. Make that a little bit more blue. Let's go with the blue. Okay. Alright, so now trying to think how I want to do this. I'm going to do another layer. And this one. Oh, actually, I'm going to start here. And we'll go with add to. So I'm going to come up here. Something like that. And something like that. And maybe even something like that. Like so. Like so. Like a so, and like so. Alright, now I'm going to switch to this one, and I'm going to do subtract from. And I'm going to go right here, up to here, across to here. Well, no, yeah. And back down to there. I'm going to bring this. Quite as extreme on that level. Maybe something like this, like so. B, Shift Control I, grab that. All I'm doing is just kind of painting over some of this that I had there. Like so. Soften that out. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna go with a little bit. Shift Control I. Something along the lines of that. Something along those lines. Brown in here. Something like that. Do the same right here. Just gonna soften that out like so. And I want to add a little bit more of it over here. Just kind of splotch it in, and a little bit over. Control I. So that there, and a little bit of that there, and there. 4. Okay, Control D. I'm going to use a stencil to add a little bit of texture here. I'm going to take this. There we go. Fall stencil. I'm going to scale it up. And working from the top down, I'm going to drag this down, break up the paint. Like so. I just want a little bit of a streak to it. I'm going to turn off block size ratio. I'm going to squish this in and stretch it out, and I'm going to rotate it. And now I'm going to do the same thing up here. Just kind of straight. So I just want it to kind of fade. Remember that song "Fade Into You"? I said fade, that just kind of popped into my head. Again, getting rid of some of the super hard edge, but leaving just a hint of it. What that's doing is giving me just a touch of perspective. Like so. This pebbles one. Again, turn off lock size ratio. Stretch it out. Off it here. That. Backspace 4. Across. Like that. Look at this other one that I did, this old shingles. Soften it slightly. Right, so let's bring this way down, and I'm going to make another layer. I think I want to take this really light color. Put a geometric shape here and there. Like that. Maybe a little bit of this here. To do the same thing. Just kind of soften it. Get a straight edge on the part. Work here. And 5 to erase some of it. Add in some more of these colors down here. This one look like if we didn't color dodge. Not too bright. What about overlay? Interesting. Kind of like that. So let's take. And let's bring all this down. I want to add in along the lines of like that. I had that on deselect. So did the wrong. All I want to do here is just throw in the indications of some just geometric shapes. Like stuff off in the distance. Here we go. Just trying to, get some abstract shapes in here. Just to kind of build up interest. Grab a different brush. Grunges. Yeah, it's giving me a little bit more of the streakiness that I want. So I'm going to do another layer. And think so. Trying to soften these a little bit. Just add some detail with no detail kind of thing. So as you can tell, this is a vehicle. I have no idea what kind of vehicle. I'm just going to keep having like an old kind of cab or something kind of bounce through my head, but not really sure what. Just something. Suddenly this has a very dystopian, broken down car look to it to me. I don't know why, but like it's on an angle. I wasn't being careful with the perspective on this. Excuse me. Keep these shapes somewhat abstract. Same time kind of interesting. Alright. So, add just a little of this. Maybe something just drove through here. And again, I'm just adding in some abstract shapes here and there. Just stuff to add interest. To me, I find it intriguing. It's like, who are these people? Where are they going? What are they doing? Okay, so let's add in maybe another one of these light looking things here. So, just kind of playing around with reflections and abstract to get that kind of interesting look. I may come back and play around with this one some more. I may not. I don't know. Just find it an interesting exercise and playing around with shapes and stuff. Love to know what you guys think about it, as far as, trying to play around and get different looks and so forth. Just trying to do something a little different. This needs a little bit of a vignette, I think. Break this shape up a little bit. I think that makes it a little bit more interesting. Like I said, I wanted this to be really rich at the beginning. I wanted it to be almost like alcohol inks poured on something. So trying to go with a intense color. Add a few hot spots here and there because it's getting a little too dark, but also a little too dreary. I don't want this to necessarily be kind of a dystopian kind of look, like I said before. Going nighttime, kind of a vibe to it. So, something along these lines. Just some splashes of color here and there to break it up a little bit. Alright, I think we're going to call it done. Let me know what your thoughts are. What you think about playing around with something like this. Hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.